Alright, let's get going. And 3, 2, 1. Here, Wood Studio, and we're live from the shop today. We've got a bunch of things to talk about. It's going to be a blast. And let's check out the rocking chair right now, talk about a couple things, and then I have a little sneak peek. Hopefully you guys don't mind. Let's see how long it is. 11 minutes and 19 seconds. I rough edited a portion of the chapter dealing with what happened this week to share with you guys. I thought that'd be a nice way to show you what happened with the project so far, and then take some questions, fill in the blanks for what happened after I finished editing so far. And so let's check out the chair. So the chair kind of looks like what it looked like last week, because most of the work has been done on the parts that are going to go here in the middle. And those are these back slats. This one will be both the right and the left outside back slats, and this guy here is going to be the center back slat. And that's Matt Cremona tweeting about me right now. Thank you, Matt. So I'll put that on vibrate so we don't have that lots of people beeping in. But yeah, so these guys are good. And what I want to do right now is actually roll the footage from this week that I've edited so far so you guys can watch. Now the reason why I'm using this board is because it's got so many great cathedral patterns in it. I really want to have this cathedral pattern pointing up for my center back slat. I think it'd be great as the actual piece splits from 2 into 1. Leave the 2 piece parts on the bottom into 1 as we come up, that the form follows the function. So the form of the grain follows the, I guess you could say also the form of the piece, and the function of the piece is that we have 2 separate mortises right here. Now, as I said, we need 6 inches. So with my with my tape measure here, right, this board is just under 8 inches wide. And if I come to roughly the 6-inch mark, my cathedral pattern down here is relatively centered. And I'm really digging that. And then I'm going to pull just about 27 inches worth of material for each piece. We actually need less than that, probably somewhere around 25 inches in total length, but I want to grab a little bit extra in case you want to cut some stuff off on the bottom as well as the top. So I'm just going to make some rough marks for myself, figuring maybe down here will be my bottom. Somewhere around here is 27 inches. And what I really like about this is if I come a little bit higher up in this next segment of the board, and then the grain is flowing in this direction. It's kind of curved, just like the 2 side slats are going to be as well. So we got a little bit of curve right here. I really like that. Of course, that comes from 2 cathedral patterns, one here and one over here, both pointing at each other. So this one's going to be for my sides, and this guy down here will be for the center. Well, I got these 2 guys out for my larger piece, and it's time to prepare them for preparation to get prepared to be bent laminations. Why is there so much prep? Well, the pieces here are a little bit wider than I actually need. And this is 8 inches wide instead of being 6. So if you have a jointer that's 6 inches wide, what you need to do is prep this guy right now. Hopefully your jointer is actually 6 1/8 inches wide, just like my old 6-inch Craftsman jointer was. You need to prep this guy so it is 6 1/8 inches wide. I'm going to go for just a little bit more than that, but it's pretty much the same thing. So let's take a tape measure and focus on this guy, find center, and then measure out from there. So what I want to do here is find where this center of the cathedral pattern is. And for me, that's right about here. And it's also right about up here on the top. I'm going to connect those two lines. This is all very rough. You know, actually after looking at this, I think I want to move it over a little bit instead. This line here on the left feels more like it's center than the first line I drew. So let's go off of that one. So what I want to do is come out. For me, it's going to be, I'm going to do a little bit more than 6 inches. So I'm going to come out a 3 1/4 on this side, and then another 3 1/4 on that side, 3 1/4 at the top, and again 3 1/4 on the other side at the top. And now I'm going to connect my 4 points. And now what you have here is a piece that is, about 6 1/2, a little bit under 6 1/2 inches wide. And I'm going to head over to the bandsaw and rip these 2 pieces out that I don't want. Now here's the piece for the side back slats. And this is the piece I want to be showing in the front of the chair, which is the section you'll be sitting in. And I'm pretty much going to go through the exact same process. I'm going to mark kind of where I think center is, and then take a look at the board itself and kind of find where center is up here at the top. Now again, I have where I want to pull material or relieve material on this piece. And so for both of these guys, I'm going to head over to the bandsaw and cut this out. Before I headed over to the jointer to start work on milling these parts up, the first thing I did was I came to each, and at the end of the pieces, because I'm going to still have to edge joint, I drew on one piece a triangle. So there we got a, and on the other piece I drew 2. This way I'll know the direction of all the boards, and I'll also know which piece goes to which board. So I got my pieces and they're ready to have some work done to them. Before I got here though, I was at the jointer and I milled up one face flat on both of my pieces, and then I joined a edge flat to that as well. Then over here at the table saw, I took the side that was both flat and the side that was jointed, the edge that was jointed flat, and then ripped these 2 guys to the same width. And that gave me a width that was just a little bit over 1 1/4 inches, actually just about 1 3/8 or 6 inches and 6 3/8 inches, that is. And that leaves me with 3 faces that are square to each other with one face that is not, and that's cool, not a problem. So what we're gonna do now, use a table saw to help us cut on the bandsaw. So normally I would just go over to the bandsaw at this point and take off just a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch, and then go over to the jointer and clean that up, and then take another pass again and again and again until I get my 4 pieces out of this. This time I'm going to do something a little different, and I'm going to show this technique on not the center back slat which is this guy here, but on the piece I'm going to use for the side and back slats. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the table saw to help me start the resawing process. So if your saw doesn't have a ton of horsepower in it, but it has the capability of resawing something like this, you can give it a little bit of extra help, and that's what I'm going to show you what to do, or how to do. And basically all I'm going to do is bring the blade up to close to its full height, and with the edge that's flat and jointed flat, I'm going to take a pass that is just a little bit thicker than 1/8 of an inch on one side, flip the board around, and take that same pass on the other side. And that'll leave me with a groove in the center where I can then just run my bandsaw blade right down that and remove this first piece. And now you have a piece that's ready to be thicknessed on your drum sander or the planer with the jig that I've used earlier to help us plane the rockers. Okay, that went really well, and I actually really liked the process of using the table saw to start the resaw cut so much that I ended up going and deciding that it's probably better to get prep both sides at the same time. You can just do more at once. So what I ended up doing was taking the center back slat blank and coming over to the planer and putting the jointer in planer mode and bringing both sides coplanar with each other. And for the one for the side slats, I ended up jointing that and then again bringing both of those sides coplanar. With both of those sides coplanar, then I ended up just very lightly redressing the edges on both sides. That way, when I ran this on the table saw, I'd have a nice square reference so the blade was going straight and I wouldn't be tilting the piece in any particular way. So I ended up just going through the process there of cutting on the table saw, bringing it over to the bandsaw, ripping the pieces free, and then jointing them over into jointer planer machine. And that's where I am now with these two stacks that are ready to go. Now I have my combo machine in planer mode right now, and what I'm going to end up doing is using this fence here to artificially bring up the bed of the planer so I can thickness things that are thinner than 1/4 of an inch. Now I will also include a supplementary extra video for this as well, where you'll be able to see me making this piece so that you guys can make it as well to help you be able to use your planer to thickness parts that are less than 1/4 of an inch thick. So I'm going to start here and get these guys to thickness. You can always use a drum sander for this as well. That's a fantastic way of doing this too. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to get to work. Now the reason why I'm using this board is because it's got so many. Alright, that kind of brings us up to now. I see some questions popped up on YouTube in the chat, so I'll try to answer a couple of those right now, and then we'll move on to what happened since then. The first one was, your saw can handle that through, right? Is it the Laguna SUV? And the answer is yes, right? Laguna can absolutely handle that. It's not an issue. The blade's on there. It's nice and clean. Probably needs to, maybe not now, but sometime relatively in the future, maybe get sharpened. But the blade's cutting really well right now. It's set up well. And I didn't use that, I have in the past, to cut it completely, because when I shoot these videos as a class to go onto my website and be sold to other people to be able to build these things as well as rocking chair, other projects I have up there. I'm trying to build something that everybody can do. So I thought it'd be great to show the technique of using the table saw to start the cut first and really help out the bandsaw. So if not everybody has a 3 horsepower, I think it's a 3 horsepower Italian motor with carbide teeth blades that can resaw 12 inches. Yeah, not everybody has that. Elizabeth's got a Grizzly 14-inch over here in her shop, and with a little bit of work here at the table saw, she could take care of resawing these guys as well. So that's kind of where my focus was on that. So I hope that answers your question, Matt, which is what's the advantage of using the table saw first, and that was just to relieve some material before so that you can get a nice cut, easily be able to rip or cut the rest of it at the bandsaw. So that was my thought. Keep the blade from flexing. Yeah, absolutely. At least from my setup, if I go really nice and slow, everything's set up well, I don't really have much flex. I get really nice cuts off this Laguna here. But yeah, I've definitely seen when I had another bandsaw, which is older, that the blade would curve on a cut like this because it just wasn't made to do something this thick. So that was the thought there. Now from there, let's talk about these guys here. So last week I made this bending form, and that was in the last shop update. And the form's right here. It's got some packing tape on it now, and there's a lot of glue all over it because it's been used to glue these two guys up. Now, if you guys have been watching me on Instagram, I shared a couple of pictures. Let me show you one of them. And the first one I want to show you is this guy. So that first picture was this box here, which is right below, and I'm going to open it up for you guys. So this is this vacuum press that I purchased. It comes with a bag. It's a 20 mil plastic bag. It's got a one-way valve here, and then at the bottom it has an adhesive to adhere both sides of the plastic together. Now, it comes with two more strips of that adhesive. It comes with this netting here. It goes over your lamination form and everything you're trying to laminate, and it allows the air to be sucked out of the bag from all different crevices, I guess. And it comes with a couple more strips of this adhesive, and then it comes with this guy here, which is a vacuum pump that goes into the one-way valve. And my initial results with it were really good. Once I got everything nicely sealed and I pulled the air out of the vacuum bag, everything was fine. I went into the house, I did a couple of things, came back and checked the bag a couple of times that night before I went to bed, and everything was still holding. But when I woke up in the morning, the opposite had happened, and the bag had opened up, and it was not holding anymore, and there was air in there, and instead of having a really nice glue up all the way around, there's a couple of spots on the outside edges of this piece. Let's see if I can show them to you. You guys can see them or not in the camera. There's a little bit over here, as here as well, and same thing on the edge over here. And so that's about all I can visually see. So I'm really hoping that that's it, and I'll be able to pull my two side slats out of this. So what I learned out of this whole process with this bag is that everything you've watched before, where at least I've watched, it comes back to, I kept talking about it when I was setting this up, or after I set this up and found out the next morning. So I filmed the second part of the second glue up, that is, and I said, okay, in the first first glue-up, I definitely should have had a mechanical connection beyond trusting the adhesive that came with the bag. So the bag's a great value in the sense that, this was $100. The bag, the pump, the netting, was $100, prepackaged, shows up at your door, ready to rock and roll. There should have been another step that I should, in retrospect, and probably then, in the back of my mind, I know I was thinking about it. I was hoping it would work out just fine, figuring that they've done some research on this. And I should have had a mechanical connection here instead. For instance, two pieces of wood that maybe one's got a round and there's a matching opposite round, so they come together like this, and then have clamped that down and then sucked all the air out. So that's part one of my 2 cents on this. So that's cent number one. And cent number two of my 2 cents on this is that they have another pump that you can purchase as well. So maybe instead of buying a kit, you buy the bag, the pump, and the higher end pump, which is like $15. And it doesn't come with any of the kits, and it sucks out more air, so you can get the bag closed, the air evacuated from the bag faster. And I definitely should have done that instead, because this just took forever to get the air out of the bag. It didn't take forever, like it took 15 minutes or 20, but it was long enough that I thought to myself I should have gotten the other pump instead. So that's my 2 cents on this guy. I'm really hoping that I can still use this. So instead, what I ended up doing, which is another picture I put up on Instagram, is I ended up using this guy and going the old school way that I've always done before, and used the clamps with a really just as thick amount of cauls to glue up the second lamination. And that's this guy here, which was for the center back slats. And since I had never done this with the vacuum press before, that's why I did the 2 sides, because I figured this was really the grain I was really in love with the most, and that's why it became the center. And that's because of the cathedral patterns I talked about in the video you guys just watched. So I figured, worst comes to worst, I can always replace those boards. I think I'm going to be good, but I'm not sure until I release the parts out of it and cut them over at the bandsaw. So that's the lesson I learned. I'm definitely going to try the vacuum press again, but for the expediency of the project, I was not willing to go and mill up some material to give it a shot with what I really liked, which was these pieces right here. I wanted to make sure this was going to work, and so thus I used clamps, and I went the old-fashioned way. So that's what happened with that, and I actually wanted to be farther in the project than I am today, and I wanted to have the center and the side back slats cut out and fitted, minus the ebony bars for the center. And I'm not there, and the reason I'm not there is I had printed out, in SketchUp, I had done the design for the center back slat here and the size. Resized everything properly for this chair, made some tweaks because the one on this chair actually looks a little bit different. Once you look at the details of it, it's shaped a little bit differently than the armchair. So I wanted to make this match that as much as possible. And after I cut my first template for the center, after I cut a template for the center out of my printouts for my SketchUp plan, and I compared it to the photos I had, I wasn't too happy with it. Well, I thought that the center point where everything meets should get moved. So I ended up printing out another set after I made some changes in SketchUp. And that's kind of where I am, or at least what I'm going to be doing going forward in this next week. And that is with these guys here. So in SketchUp, when I export all these plans, they go into a PDF with the class. And and you can print all these guys. They're all made sized to work on a home inkjet printer, and that's exactly what I print them out on as well. And there's a question, I'll get to that in 1 second. And then these guys just get cut, taped together, 1, 2, and 3 for the top. And then they get adhered to a piece of MDF, and then they get cut. And next thing you know, you got yourself a template after you clean it up a little bit. So I did end up playing around with this and changed this point right here, the height from the bottom to the top, in the whole proportion of the entire piece. Come on, paper. Alright, that's not going to happen. But, so that's kind of what slowed me down here. So there was a question, let's see, about this. Could you cut the curved pieces out of the original board instead of doing the lamination? You know what? That's a really good question. So, as you guys may have known if you've been watching me, my updates for a while, that I actually visited the house and I've seen the real piece, right? And it was my guess, because the grain on the side is flowing all in the same direction, just like a bent lamination would, where everything's moving. So my guess is that it was originally steam bent and then fit. So it's cut, fit. Well, actually, it wasn't cut to its final width at that time either, or thickness, because there's some work that was done up on the top. There's some changes in thickness, but nonetheless, that was steam bent most likely. So could you take it out of a larger thing? Yeah, sure, I guess. It's weighing them. Is it too low or is it too high? So anyways, that's my 2 cents on that. I think that it was probably steam bent, and sure, I guess you could take a piece and do that. You have to make sure that you have grain that's hopefully following the direction of the curve of the piece. Otherwise, you have some short grain there, and you're running the risk, because the short grain is not as strong, of it breaking somewhere. So that's why I went with the lamination. So anyhow, that was going on. I did have a couple other things I want to talk about shop-wise, and then we'll get into the Q&A session. So a comment was made on one of the sharpening station videos from when I was doing the sharpening station, and it was a really good comment, and it was, hey, I think that the pump that you're using may have a little bit too much wattage in it, so that in case, gosh, if something happened or went wrong with the pump inside of it, that the last thing you want to do is put your hand in it and get a nice little shock there. So I swapped some messages with that guy, and whoever, I can't remember your name, I really apologize. I should have had that locked in, and he recommended I go with a lower wattage pump, and absolutely made sense. So I purchased a lower wattage pump. It's pretty much the exact same, same functional pump, a little bit different in size, it's a different manufacturer, but it's 2.5 watts, and that's less electricity going into the pump than with the other one. So I'm cool with that. Going to do an upgrade to the sharpening station with this, and the second item, which is this little foot operated pedal, so that instead of having, once I set the amount of liquid or water I want coming out the flow rate from the valve, that I can just use this foot pump set down below, and I would actually put my hand in the water as well. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I bought this foot pump as well. It happens to be a holiday connection. It's got green colors for Christmas, but so be it, not a big deal. I thought it was a pretty good deal. And this will get plugged into, the pump will get plugged into this. This will go into the wall. And then my nice and green foot pedal here will turn on and off the pump. So I'll definitely do a little update on the sharpening station featuring these two guys here. So, does anybody, let's open it up to a Q&A about the chair or anything else woodworking wise. So, let's go. What do you guys want to know? Nah, you want me to dance? I asked you about dancing earlier, Matt. Yeah, what's up with us not having, we shot dancing in the last Matt and Matthew show. Where was the dancing in that episode? Why wasn't that like in the blooper reel at the end, huh? So the question was, what inspired me to go deeply into this style of chair? And I guess it's a really good question. I like green and green. As a woodworker, I like the complexity of green and green. I like that it's complicated, that there's things to do. It's not just, now, not to say that like arts and crafts, mission style furniture, which is being made at the same time, doesn't have its complications either. But I really like the green and green stuff. And as far as the Gamble House is concerned, cutting room floor, okay, Matt. That's why you put it at the end, so we have a little fun, right? The Gamble House is something here. It's local. So is the Blacker House, but it's also accessible. And it's one of these things where you can go and look at the pieces, and I thought being able to see the pieces would be a lot of fun. I've seen them before, and I really liked how they looked, and I wanted to build them for myself as well. So obviously you've seen me do the living room armchair. That's on the YouTube channel. The plans are on my site, and I've always wanted to build this. I actually wanted to build this first before the armchair, but I ended up building the armchair originally first, and then this never happened for years. Then when I stopped selling stuff, I said, I'm going to make this for myself, and then hopefully for the rest of you guys to be able to build if you want to as well. Let's see, Dan says that he also uses a foot switch like that in a scroll saw, and it works really great. Yeah, I'm really hoping that my guess is it's going to work fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to actually getting all this changed out over there and do some. Oh, speaking of stuff over there, I have not had a chance to open the box yet, but I got the Veritas Mark II narrow blade honing guide, and so I'm really looking forward to getting this out of the box and trying it out as well, because the mechanism for this to hold the chisels looks so much better than the other one, which is a great mechanism for holding plane blades. So this is another sharpening station thing. That'll be a whole nother video sometime in the future because I really need to get some more work done on this. So Wayne asked a question. What's the oriental looking thing in the back of your clamps? Oh, okay, sure, Wayne. I think you're talking about the rockers. I think you're talking about the rockers, Wayne, and they're just they were just happen to be, you know, in this position standing up. So these are the two rockers for the chair, and they're not by any stretch of the imagination done yet. I still need to do some adder pieces on the front and then towards the back, and there's a lot of actually carving that has to get done on these as well. Cloud lifts in the front, cloud lifts in the back, a pattern that matches in the far back that matches the same that's carved out on the arms as well. So there's a lot more work to do on these, but this is the laminations for the two rockers. Matt wants to know, what is the next project? Well, if he doesn't get moving, I'm going to have to fly out there and finish all this baby stuff for him. No, I'm just kidding. I should make a chair using only hand tools. It may be fun for you to watch. It could be fun for me to build, but I'm not a big, I like using hand tools a lot. I'm going to get back to your question in a second, Matt. I like using hand tools a lot, but I am not a let's flatten and completely dress a piece of lumber down to its part with hand tools. That's not my cup of tea. Welcome to. The next project is probably going to end up being a Nakashima style desk. And the reason I say that is I had somebody contact me and wants to commission two matching desks, one longer than the other. I'm going to slide this build in between what was going to be the next one. So I may have to, if you've purchased the yearly subscription, you're definitely going to get an extra bonus project in between, and if it takes me a little bit longer, you will get all the videos that you set up for when you started in all the projects. So don't worry about that. So I'm going to probably slip in a project in between. So yeah, Nakashima style, two matching desks, live edge tops, which actually have lumber 4, all in walnut, and one will be longer, and the other one will be shorter in length. Will you be using ebony? Wayne asks, will you be using ebony? If so, when will that process start? Yes, I will definitely be using ebony. Wayne, I don't know if you see, there's a bunch of ebony right about where my finger is pointing, and there's actually a bunch more ebony up on my tool cabinet as well. Yeah, the ebony in this chair is, because I don't have those, it's mainly still in the center back slat, where there are ebony bars that go through both sides of the slat. 4, I believe, 2 on the bottom, 3, and then 4, and then change shapes. It gets smaller as you go up. So there's ebony there, and then the rest of the ebony in this project, just like in the original chair, is in the plugs that are around all the joinery, be it the front legs, the rear legs, up on the top of the crest rail, etc. So yes, ebony, and in the places where it was in the original chair. Does anybody else have any questions? While I'm waiting for that, let me go. This is a 2 by 4 by 5 foot. I have long piece of ebony. I have 1, 2 of these. So I got a bunch of ebony, but these are not going to get used. I don't know what I'm ever going to use these for, but I purchased a couple of them. I don't know, I guess I'm just banking wood back here. I've got a ton of cocobolo last time, but I've got 2 matching slabs of cocobolo as well. Those are back over here. So they're book matched slabs of cocobolo, or parts of slabs. All right, so pretty much that's it for this week. As I said, next week, hopefully in the next update, we'll definitely have the center back slat. And yes, Wayne, that was a, oh, how much was that piece of ebony? Couple of dollars? I don't know. No, it's 200 and, no, that was, yeah, it was like 250, $250, $300, somewhere around there. I have 2 of them, and then I have this thinner guy here, which is a 1 by 4 by 5 feet as well. And then I have on top of my tool cabinet, I have a whole bunch of 2 by 4 by 24s, and a couple of them been cut down. So there's a lot. And since I brought it up, I have 2 of these guys. This is it's like 6/4, and it's cocobolo. And these are 2 of these guys, and they're book matched. I have no idea what I'm going to do with the lumber, other than it's illegal to bring cocobolo in anymore. And the ebony, the price just keeps going up and up and up. So I've been, last year I spent some time and I purchased a bunch of ebony. And Wayne asks, where did I get the ebony from? There's a local lumber yard near me that sells ebony. So I just went to the lumber yard and I told them to give me a buzz when they got big stuff in, and that's what they did. So it's called Canale Hardwoods. It's here in Westlake Village, but I've seen pieces of ebony that big at the local Woodcraft here in Ventura as well. So I'm guessing that, my guess would be that other woodworking stores and lumber yards that have some more exotics in them would have pieces that big as well. So yeah, I'm going to focus on, getting back to what I was saying, was I'm going to focus on the center back slats, get those in. And once I get those fitted and in, the next step is going to be starting to work on the house mortise and tenon joints all the way around the chair. And the reason for that is it's not, you can't see from this angle, but if you take the rocker and you move the rocker, and I think I have a clamp here, so let me see if I can get the clamp out of the way. But I purposely left there's a gap here between the end of this piece and the tenon, and then the rear legs here, and that's because this guy's going to become a house mortise and tenon joint, so it's going to go inside the leg, and the tenon's just long right now. That was on purpose. So in the original chair, I'm not sure you guys can really see it, I'm sorry. In the original chair, this is not flat here at all, it's curved, and so I wanted to try to do that, will do that here as well. So this curve in the leg, this piece will go in, it'll all be at square to each other in the right proportions, and once I can get those cut, and that whole house mortise and tenon stuff done down here, then I can focus on the arms, because I can't get the arms fit and then mortise into the legs, the center of the legs, until I get this distance finished as well. So there's some process going on, and then we'll come back and focus on putting the ebony bars into the center back slat. Wayne asks, tell us about the plaid shirts with sunglasses, a happy face, sunglasses. I don't know, I like plaid shirts. I got a bunch of them. I bought a new one 3 or 4 days ago. No. Yeah, 3 or 4 days ago. And another plaid shirt went out, so I didn't buy one and add to the collection. One left as one came in. So I have a lot of plaid shirts. I don't know, in California, I see lots of people wearing plaid shirts. I don't know. Yes, do or do not. There is no try. Exactly. That's exactly what's going to happen right here. Absolutely. The Yoda in me is going to come out and just kick some butt right here. So, lots of fun left. I'm really looking forward to this. And then eventually, I'll be lucky enough to get, once I get all of this, the house stuff done, I really actually want to take the chair, put it on the rockers without the additions yet on the rockers for the height. And I like to sit in the chair. I like the, I gotta get the arms on. So I'll get the arms, then I'll throw some cleats in, put a plywood seat down, maybe sit in the thing. That'll be a lot of fun. So while we're here, does anybody want to ask any questions about stuff here in the shop? Sure, there's a question. Great question. Do you have a maker's mark you put on your finished items? Let me see if I can. Let me find what I have. I have a. So the question was, do I have a maker's mark? And what I have is this guy. And I plug it in. It gets exceptionally hot. And it's a branding iron, and it has my logo on it. And then I will brand somewhere inside the chair where nobody can see it. And so all my pieces I will brand a logo in on the piece before I put the finish on. and then I'll finish the chair. So this is what I use. And I also take a permanent marker at that point and then number the item as well. Matt asks, how's the sharpening pond? The sharpening pond is great. I'm loving it over here in the corner. Right now it doesn't have any water in it, but as I've been doing work, I've had water in it, and just been touching up the blades, and that works really well. It's nice having something here. The water's out of it because, well, I just actually used it the other day, so I took all the water out, dumped it, and I need to put some more water in, but I'm really loving having it here. Well, Wayne, if you come to Woodworking in America in Kansas City in September, this chair, knock on a bunch of wood, because that's all that's here in the shop. It will be in Woodworking in America with me in my booth. I'm sorry, if I didn't say 100%, hey Matt, how you doing? Matt S, not Matt C. I definitely have a booth at Woodworking in America. They have taken my money. My logo is up on their website, and this chair will be here in the booth, and you'll be able to sit in it. So come to Woodworking in America, Wayne. Matt will be there. He'll be able to sit in it. I'm only going to charge him $29.95. Matt wants me to send him my logo. Sure, Matt, I've got your email address. I will, Matt S that is, I will send you the logo. Any pomegranates out there? Absolutely, absolutely. Let's see what we can see. The pomegranate tree is all nice and green right now. So I don't know what you guys can and can't see. Let's move over. I can only go so far because of the cables, but yep, there's the pomegranate tree, and we have little pomegranates going on the pomegranate tree right now. And that red bag that's there, that's actually our plastic Christmas tree, and it needs to go back into the storage shed that is behind the shop. I guess it got pulled out today as Elizabeth was moving lumber in and out of the storage shed. Yes, Matt, you should absolutely make it to WIA. I will be there. Matt C will be there. I'm going to be there the whole time. So I got to be there at the booth for those 2 market days. And I'm going to a Royals game. I wrote something to you about it, Matt C. 2 Matts. There's 3 Matts here. Matt C. But I'm definitely going to a Royals game. And anybody else feels like coming, you know, let's all get seats, hopefully in the same spot, and I'm up for that. Matt Cremona asked if I've ever worked with pomegranate wood, and no, I've not, and I'm not going to chop down the pomegranate tree outside. Not going to happen. Sorry, I'm pretty sure that Elizabeth would kill me if I did that, because she loves having the pomegranates for free from the back, and we probably get a good, anywhere from, I would say, 75 to 125, 150 pomegranates off of that pomegranate bush. Matt S asked, am I going to remake the assembly table? And I absolutely want to replace this. I've even and I've even made a mental step and then a physical outlay of money step in the process of replacing this. I have a vise over here next to my bench. That I bought, and this will go on the new assembly table. I just haven't been able to get to it. It's going to be nice and flat, and it's going to be maple on the top. I got to build a new regular bench too, but yeah, that's me moving towards that. Is saying I spent some money, and I got to finish spending money and get to this. But I got to build projects for you guys, and that's higher on the list because the table still works. So WEA. Wayne Brown asks, what do I do for a living? As little as possible, Wayne. As little as possible. No, I own a company, and we do web development, and not just like building like basic websites. We do we write code. We do back-end databases, big SQL stuff. On our own, we also do help desk support for other software that we deal with, we run. We do other web development as well, building websites, and then we do some traditional and social media marketing as well. So I have a business partner, we have employees, and the office is relatively close to the house, which is really nice, and we work Central Time. So that enables me to come here in the shop after work, because I get off at, we usually close shop about 3:30. Takes me about 10-15 minutes to get home. And then I come into the shop and do some work, then have dinner, come back in, and then the weekends as well. Alright, see you, Matt, Mr. Cremona. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Yeah, Matt, I did go over, Matt S., I did go over the baggage earlier in the feed. It's here. Long story short, it probably works really well. I had a little snafu, and the snafu was that the adhesive, right here, this black stuff that holds the two pieces of plastic together, it did not hold overnight. So my 2 cents to you guys, my 1 cent, because there's two parts to my 2 cents, my 1 cent is there definitely needs to be a mechanical connection here that you clamp down with some real clamps that makes the bag secure. And I said maybe something with a, that's, got a round shape like this with another round shape that comes together, and then clamp that so it seals the bag. And then instead of using the basic pump that comes with the kit, instead maybe you shouldn't buy the kit, you should buy the individual parts, and they have another pump that sucks out twice as much air as this one at the same per pump, and that'll clear the bag a lot faster and get your stuff with all the PSIs from the vacuum clamping it down a lot faster. Because it didn't take 10 or 20 minutes, but it took long enough. I was thinking I should have got the other one. Matt S., it's only intimidating if you look at it as this giant complex thing, and instead of saying, okay, let me approach one item at a time. And what's nice about if you, like you have, Matt S., done classes with me or purchased classes from me, you watch the videos, I take you through step by step every single part. There are plans for everything. It's overly engineered for you guys. Yeah, Wayne, I've got the other Mark II, the full-size Mark II, and I bought the smaller one just for the chisels. Matt S. asks, is the bag reusable? Yes, the bag is reusable. The bag should last you for years. Really. It does come with some extra tape, but again, I would not use their adhesive. I would make a mechanical connection. Now I just got the long one, right? And they have rectangular ones, they have square ones, bigger rectangles than this as far as width, and they have square. And so I just got this guy here. It's got this round because it's really meant for like skateboards. this particular one, but I got this because the length was definitely going to cover the length for the lamination form, and I didn't have to go to the really, really big bag, so that's why I did this instead. Alright, I think that's pretty good, unless you guys have anything else you want to know, which I'd be happy to answer. As I said, I'm going to focus on the center back slats, 2 side slats, and yes, Wayne, I do. So Wayne's question was, do I sell plans? And if you go to my website, mmwoodstudio.com, then you'll see that I have plans for, right now, 4 projects. This guy is going to be the 5th. There's a whole bunch of other stuff lined up, so you can buy it by the project, or you can do the yearly subscription, and you get access to everything. And there's videos up there where I talk about the differences in each one. There's a form you can participate in. You can always ask me questions, and I'm more than happy to answer them for everybody. So, Matt S., thank you very much for saying that. I appreciate that. So yeah, going to focus on the center back slats and then move down into the chair and get these housing mortise and tenons going. It's going to be a lot of fun. I really hope you guys enjoy the live streaming. I do. As I said in my last update, this is going to be a regular occurrence. It's going to be the last Wednesday of every month, which I guess is the 4th Wednesday is what I said. So the last Wednesday of every month going forward. I'm trying to work on maybe possibly getting a second camera going, but I've got to get this one. I got to work on that. But maybe that'd be really nice. You guys tell me what you think. Closer shot and a wider shot maybe. But streaming both of them out so you can choose which camera you want to use. But I definitely want to do that. And I want to do some more streaming here in the shop, just like Matt Cremona did earlier today. I've done some of that before. You can watch me shape this rear leg, not this particular rear leg, but the rough rear leg that I did. I took a piece of poplar. I built up 2 pieces of poplar, these are the matches, the blanks that these rear legs came out of. And I filmed, I went live, streamed here, walked everybody through the process I was thinking of as I was actually doing this. The only thing I wasn't doing was filming for the actual project. So I think I'd like to do or try some of that. Let me know if that's something you guys are interested in, and we'll make it happen. Matt S., yeah, don't worry, it's all going to be up. You can watch the whole thing from the beginning whenever you want. So you can start from earlier if you want to. Wayne, I'll add a link to the video once I shut this one down. And then I'm also going to, when I shut this one down, probably a little later tonight, but I'm going to schedule out the next next one and the one after that probably up on YouTube so everybody can get into their calendar when I will be live the next 2 times. So in July and August. So if anybody can do me just a quick favor before I shut down, and just let me know how you found out about this in the comments. That'd be really actually, if you can go in the comments, that'd be even better. Let me know where you found out. Did you see my post on Instagram? Did you see it on YouTube? Did you see it from Matt Cremona's tweet? Or him favoriting my stuff on Facebook or anything like that. I'd like to know where you guys found out, how you found out about this. And that'll make me be able to get that information out to you better the next time, so I'll be where you're looking so that you'll know when I'm here next. So if you guys can make those comments, I'll still answer a couple questions if that's coming through. One of the questions was, do you like the combo jointer planer, or would you prefer separate machines? So as some of you guys may know, I have a Hammer A331, and I really enjoy that machine a lot. Would I like to have separate machines? Well, if you guys watched the video that, the episode of the Matt and Matthew show that we did with Joseph Thompson, he's got a 24-inch, and a 24 and a quarter inch, I think it was, wide jointer. So I would love to have that. I mean, that'd be amazing. That'd be awesome. But no, I really like the Hammer. I like the Hammer because it's precision. I have a hand wheel there, and if you've watched any of my videos, I like working in thousandths of an inch, and it has a hand wheel there where I can thickness plane into thousandths of an inch. I can literally move it every thousandth of an inch. So I really like that. It's a great machine for precision work. And I'll be honest with you, it is, I suspect, in my personal opinion, the best built machine here in my shop. And I have some really nice stuff. I have a saw stop table saw that's right here. I have a multi-router, which I showed in the last live, and that's over here. And separate from the Lee Nielsen stuff, but just machinery. And in Laguna, I have as well my bandsaw, which you guys saw in the video that I rolled earlier in the clip. So the Hammer is the best built machine here. Quality, ease of adjustments, ease of maintenance, ability to access stuff for maintenance as well. Hands down. And the knives are great. I don't have a helical cutter head. Instead I have straight knives, but on the Hammer, the knives are all indexed. So all you have to do is, let me show you real quick. So this is a set of knives, and the knives actually have two cutting edges on each one, which is really nice as well. And they come wrapped up, of course. Let me get the paper off. And let me just show you right here. So you see these little guys right here? All the holes, right? So these guys all index into matching pins on the cutter head for the jointer and planer machine for the Hammer. And so you just lock them in. There's no dealing with setting the knives. You don't need to do it. You put them in, and they're indexed in the same spot every time you put a new set of knives in. From now until, next 10 years, however long you have the machine. And the other really nice stuff, no, that mine was not $6,000. It was, after shipping, Matt S, it was $4,000. And then you can add accessories to it. So you can add in-feed and out-feed support that clips on to the beds, both in the jointer and on the planer, and the out-feed on the planer. And that those, you have to buy them, of course, but you have the ability to expand the machine if you wish to. So you can expand the length of the beds. The 12-inch that I have, its beds are long, but it's not as long as the 16-inch, for instance, that they have. And they have two sets of beds. You can do a shorter length and a longer length that has a vertical support at the end as well, so you can get all that nice and flat, level with the beds, and you can increase the in-feed and out-feed support on the jointer. So I think the Hammer is a really well-built machine because it has all those options that you can, accessories, and then as far as its build quality, it's amazing. Great. Got it from the newsletter, Facebook, YouTube, all of it. Thank you. No, don't worry about it. I'm going to answer it this time, which I already did. So, yeah, cool stuff. Alright guys, it is 6:43. We have been doing this since 5:30, which means we've been here for about an hour and 15 minutes. And I think that's a pretty good amount of time. I really appreciate everybody showing up to the live feed and hanging out with me here in the shop. I'd really like to do it more often. I hope you guys can join me as well in the future. That'd be a lot of fun. And until next time, you guys have a great week in the shop. I had a great week in the shop. And as always, please subscribe to the channel. That'd be really appreciated. Share it with your friends, family, co-workers, even the people you... No, I'm just kidding. Just share it. It'd be great. And as always, please check out the Matt and Matthew show as well. On Tuesday, we put up a new show about angle joinery. And we talked about the angle joinery in my chair and the angle joinery in Matt Cremona's bassinet that he's building for Little Cremona. So that was a lot of fun as well. We're really working hard, as I said in that video, getting some great guests lined up. We have some stuff in the works. Once everything's confirmed and we shoot, we'll let you guys know. But we're really working on that. Knock on some wood. And I appreciate all of you guys for showing up here. So I will see you guys in 1 week.